because the U.S. Olympic roster was leaked today, and here are the names that are officially making said roster. And we got to give a big shout out to 5-time gold medalist, now 6-time Diana Taurasi, who turns 42 on Tuesday, and she'll be joined by her Mercury teammate, Brittany Griner. You take a look at this list, some newcomers as well, first-time Olympians, Alyssa Thomas, who at 32 years old becomes the oldest women's basketball player for Team USA to make her first roster. There's Sabrina Ionescu, and of course, your star of last night, Kahleah Copper as well. Notably, the name that is not on that list is Caitlin Clark. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think obviously people are going to be fired up about Caitlin Clark not being on the team, especially Caitlin Clark fans that love Caitlin's game. And Caitlin is having a phenomenal season. But what I want people to think about is, one, FIBA rules, like people that are just getting to the WNBA and seeing how physical this game is, FIBA and international basketball is 10 times more physical. I have a lot of friends who are guards that go overseas to play, and guards struggle with that initial physicality of overseas basketball. So that is an elite level of physicality. And two, most of the women that made this team competed in Belgium. They're familiar with each other. They played in camp together. And that familiarity, especially because the competition internationally has gone up, it's skyrocketed. The familiarity with the team has to be something that the committee took into consideration when putting this team together.
So I love it when you speak because I love to write notes. When you talk about physicality, I know exactly what that means. I grew up in the pipeline of USA basketball, and you really want to make your bread and butter building equity so that you are selected. But when you speak of physicality, I played in Italy, I played in China, my sister played in China, and multiple years in Russia. It is actually 10 times more physical, and that's been the topic of the physicality of the W. Wait until you see the overseas ball. And speaking of the international competition, when I look at this entire roster, to me, they want experience.
Yeah.
They truly want experience, people that have played overseas, people that have built up that equity playing in the WNBA, people of names that they have known. You can take a look right here because that's what it shows me. Now, the biggest point here, and this is what I want to bring home, Team USA has won 7 gold medals straight because of their motto, team before me. They don't care who really gets the credit as long as they leave with a gold medal. What has been the discourse this season, besides the play on the floor? It's been, who do we attribute, who do we give credit to for the growth of the women's game and the WNBA and the moment that we're in right now? I believe Team USA looks at the roster and they have experience, but they also don't want the distraction that comes. Now, me as a fan of Caitlin Clark, I would have loved to see her on this international stage, but I understand that Team USA constructs their roster not necessarily on fandom, but completing the mission. And I think that's what we see right now.
Also, just think about this. One, it's really difficult for a player coming right out of college to make the Olympic team because you miss camps, like I said earlier. But let's think about Breanna Stewart, right? She made the Olympic team when she was a rookie. Who was the coach of that team? Gino Auriemma. I'm not saying that's why she made the team, but there's a familiarity there that's going to help her be successful. There were also 4 other Connecticut Huskies on that team to help Stewie in her first Olympics. That's not the situation for Caitlin. Cheryl Reeve, who's the head coach, she's not familiar with Caitlin Clark, and the team's not familiar with Caitlin
But look,
Clark.
when you've been the preeminent, dominant force in international basketball for 7 Olympic cycles straight, you'll realize that you can play loose and fast with who you want on the team. I know this personally, seeing my sister and Candace Parker being left off the squad. If you look at the point guards, I think that recent history now, they're trying to right some wrongs and build with experience. But overall, the point guards, there's going to be question marks about Chelsea Gray, who has yet to step on the floor for the Las Vegas Aces, and question marks even on Diana at 41. So yes, they're trying to right some wrongs, but also you have to look at what those circumstances of the past now open you up for.
Diana does lead the league in three-point percentage, and I would just say this to add to the discourse that's inevitably going to happen all week long. Who would you take off? Start there. Who on that list would you take off?
Caitlin is going to have plenty more opportunities.
She's killing it right now.
We will see her. She is playing so well.
Rookie of the month.
She's putting up historical numbers. Caitlin's having a phenomenal season, and this is going to be motivation for her.
The reason Caitlin Clark was left off Team USA's roster for the Paris Olympics will actually shock you. Team USA's women's basketball roster was announced, and the big story is Caitlin Clark being left off. One reporter who has covered every women's basketball Olympics since 1984 says this is the most shocking snub she's ever seen, considering viewership has been hard sledding since USA has won every gold since 1992. It's not really even a competition, so when nobody cares to tune in. Clark's prowess to draw humongous crowds and attention was scoffed at reportedly because of what would be limited playing time on a team stacked with seasoned vets. USA was reportedly concerned how Clark's millions of fans would react to her not seeing much of the court and how the rest of the team would feel not attracting the same recognition. There could be some animosity between the players as Clark signs dozens of autographs before and after games. This comes just hours after the winless Mystics moved from a 4,000-seat arena to a 20,000-seat arena to accommodate for the large crowd Clark draws.
We talked actually on the bus. She got the call on the bus and she texted me to let me know. And, you know, I just tried to keep her spirits. I mean, the thing she said was, "Hey, Coach, they woke a monster," which I thought was awesome.
Kaitlyn, what was your reaction when you saw the USA team yesterday, the roster come out?
Yeah, I think I'm excited for the girls that are on the team. I know it's the most competitive team in the world, and I know it could have gone either way, of me being on the team, me not being on the team. So, you know, I'm excited for them. I'm going to be rooting them on to win gold. I was a kid that grew up watching the Olympics, so yeah, it'll be fun to watch them.
What was your level of disappointment not hearing your name on the roster?
Honestly, no disappointment. Like, I think it just gives you something to work for. You know, it's a dream. You know, hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that, and you know, hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, you know, I can be there.
Did you have a direct conversation with managing director or whomever's over there at USAB recently?
Yeah, they called me and let me know, and before everything came out, which was, you know, really respectful of them, and I appreciated that. And they did the same for every girl that made the team or every girl that didn't make the team. You know, there's a lot of players in the Olympic pool, so it wasn't like I was the only one they had to call. They had to make quite a few calls.
Are you looking forward to a break, you know, from Olympic action, basketball in general, I guess?
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be really nice. I mean, I've loved competing every single second, but it's going to be a great month for my body to, you know, first of all, like, get rest and get healthy and just get a little time away from basketball and the craziness of everything that's been going on, and you know, just find some peace and quiet for myself. But then additionally, like, a great opportunity for us to work and get better, a great opportunity for myself to get in the weight room, to work on the court and work at things that I want to get better at that I maybe didn't have time going from college to the pro season. So I'm looking forward to it. But at the same time, like, we still have a month of games where we have a lot of opportunities to win a lot of games. So that's where my main focus is.